right, we here, yo. What's going on? Flash Speaks back for another video. We got an early morning edition right here today because we have a good amount to catch up on. Your boy finally got some time to do this, and we're gonna do this, man. So right now, it's a lot going on in the area of the women's game. Um, we have the Unrivaled League coming up, which is that 3-on-3 game, the 3-on-3 league, which I'm very curious to see how that's going to end up. Like I told you all who followed the channel early on, I wasn't really interested at first, but seeing how they're doing it and looking at the way they're promoting it everywhere from social media and, Instagram and so on, I'm actually interested now. So I will be checking it out. But real quick before we get to that, number one was we had a Caitlin Clark sighting, right? Now I should have some sound effects right now, or something like that, right? But I don't. But did have a Caitlin Clark sighting, and I think it's fair to mention that. And she was on the show with the Kelsey brothers. I watched the Kelsey brothers. Keith, Eagles fan. Jason Kelsey, one of my favorite players of all time, of course. So I checked it out. And not a bad interview. Not a bad interview, man. I think CC showed some personality there. Showed a lot of personality that, shows she's regular young 22-year-old like I suspected, who's just trying to live her dream, play basketball, all of that. Of course, they kept it very vanilla, didn't ask any real controversial questions. I may not have heard the whole thing, but I don't think anything was brought up necessarily about rivalry with Angel Reese or anything like that. It was just kind of, like I said, real general, vanilla, and those types of things. But it was good, just in general interview, no issues with it. So that we had on one hand. All right, next thing we got up is the women's NCAA college basketball, which has been fire so far this season. We're about 15 games in, I believe, for on most teams, so pretty much halfway through. As those teams who are going to separate themselves from the others start to emerge, and as we get ready moving into March Madness, which is still a few months away. But right now, UCLA is sitting at number one, and UCLA is a team, though I'm familiar with Lauren Betts, is a player you just can't teach. You're talking about 6'6", 6'7", got skills inside game, probably the best rim protector right now in the league. Pretty dominant at that position. UCLA, though, when I looked at their wins, it looks like their best win was really South Carolina. I guess that'll do it. This is South Carolina as the defending champions, So UCLA is sitting at number one, probably mainly because of that win over South Carolina. Then you got South Carolina sitting at two, of course. This is the Alabama of the women's college game right now. Most of those, the thing about them, they're kind of like a no-name team right now. Like right now, they don't have like an AJ Wilson or even Alicia Gray right now, though they have plenty of talent there and the best coach in the nation. So South Carolina's kind of sitting at two. I don't really predict them to go and win the title this year, though. But we'll see how that goes. I kind of think you need at least that one star who I think will be a high draft pick. I don't think they have right now on their team a high first round pick. So that's interesting, that they're sitting there number 2, 13-1 record. Now, my favorite team right now, my favorite team that I root for, of course, is those Tigers over at LSU. But the team that has entertained me the most and impressed me the most that I'm looking at and I'm eyeing in terms of some of those draft picks that'll be coming to the league. I think only two will be ready this year, is Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Now, this is a university that in the football scene, I can't stand Notre Dame football, you know, but I can't help but support this women's team because they got some dogs, right? You're talking about um, the one that you bring up. I can't help but smile when I hear her name, and that's Hidalgo. You know, if they had a competition for which team has the best name players. Like, what they will win. Citron, Hidalgo, Miles. Like, how can you not root for that team? Team, they got some dogs. They put down a couple of teams that I hated to see them beat. Like, for example, Juju's Trojans. USC. That was crazy. That game. UConn as well. They put both of those teams down. So I don't see how, based on strength of schedule, how Notre Dame isn't number one. I get it. UCLA is undefeated, but like Notre Dame, when you're talking about impressive wins, man, I haven't seen any team put together more impressive wins than Notre Dame. And that's the team I predict, man, is definitely going to make a Final Four. And if some things go right, they can find themselves in the championship. And I would not be surprised if Notre Dame was to win it all. To be frank with you, man, they got the defense. You're talking about two of the best defensive players, in my opinion, in the nation. You're talking about Citron, and then you're talking about that Hidalgo. Hidalgo, boy, defensively they're offensively their IQ level is so impressive because really they have three players that could really play point guard, like real point guard. Number one, you got the best point guard in the nation, Olivia Miles, who has a court vision that is very rare. It's very rare, and it's something you can't teach. Like, she's just one of them born point guards. That you can tell make every pass from everywhere. She can also score. Seems like she got those leadership skills. Like Olivia Miles, type of player that, of course, anyone. Why could you not want Olivia Miles? Sonia Citron. You're talking about a 6'1" wing. I think they usually put her at the 3 in this particular situation. I've seen her do some of the best defensive work on big wings, like both Paige and Juju. Like, how could someone like that not be valuable? You put her on your team, you could throw her potentially on some of the best wings in the W. How do you not take someone like Citron if she's available? And we're going to talk about that a little bit too, because as soon as I'm done going through this, we're going to talk a little bit about the draft and what I would do if, in particular, if I'm a team in the top 5. We're going to talk about that a little bit, okay? But Notre Dame, I like that squad, and they probably my early favorite to win it all, because you're talking about a team that isn't relying on like one star or even 2. They have a big 3, and I have a hard time finding a better big 3. LSU is kind of close. We'll talk about a little bit because I like Williams, and of course number 4. That's my favorite player in this whole draft. And well, it's not necessarily in draft. We're gonna talk about if she possibly goes in draft, but I'm talking about in the women's game right now in college, number 4, and then of course Morrow and Williams, who we're gonna talk about too a little bit. USC. What more can I say other than it's a shame that the NCAA got these dumbass rules and that they apply them to everyone across the board, that you got to be 22 years old to enter the draft, or you got to absolutely be like done with all your college. It's a bunch of BS, that Juju just cannot enter the draft next year. Good for college that they'll have her around for one more year to milk her, the Juju train. But that's the main thing I can say now. Kiki Iriafen will be eligible for the draft. I suspect she'll go possibly top 5. We could discuss that, if you want. I like what she brings. to the game for the most part. And but with USC, they're very heavy, top heavy, in my opinion. Now, I like the team overall because they're a very big team. And when they decide to play defense, they can lock in. They will be a threat when it comes to that Final Four. I think they're at least Elite Eight, Final Four team. But I think they're going to have trouble with Notre Dame. I just think they're just built to kind of lose to Notre Dame right now. But we'll see. Juju at the same time, I don't doubt her, especially when she got revenge on her mind. She will remember that loss. And I think comes super hard, like she did at Page and UConn, still remembering that loss from last year. So I don't doubt the Juju bug, but we gonna see. Next, you got Texas, then LSU. That's my squad that I kind of been following ever since that LSU team when Angel Reese and Flau'jae had captured the nation after South Carolina was robbed by Iowa and them damn officials, 2 seasons ago, and then LSU put the whole nation on their back and decided to right that wrong. I'm always going to remember that LSU team and going to root for them so long as, they keep playing the style of ball they play. I like the pressure defense they put on teams. Of course, number 4, Morrow, and also Williams. That's the second best big 3, in my opinion, after what they got going on over there in Notre Dame. I can definitely see LSU winning it all. And, Texas, I didn't forget about them. It's just that, honestly, let me keep it 100 with y'all. I didn't do the best research on Texas like I probably should have. So I'm not going to sit here and speak. I don't really do too much of that. There's a lot of games in college, and it's hard to catch them all. And I can't say that I actually caught a lot of Texas games, so I'm not going to speak on them. But we're going to acknowledge they are ranked number 5 right now. So since they ranked number 5, you would assume that they have a chance to actually go do something special. If one of you brothers here know a lot about Texas in particular, I welcome you. Could drop the link. You can come on and let the people know about them. You understand what I'm saying? And then, of course, you got UConn. UConn, who has the player that has been ranked as the top women's prospect over the last 4 or 5 years, and that is, of course, Paige Bueckers, who is projected to go number 1, has been projected to go number 1, and from what I understand, is still projected to go number 1 to those Dallas Wings. Some people question whether or not her and Enrique will be able to fit in, and also Satu Sabali, can't forget about her. I'm of the opinion that she's the perfect fit for that team. Paige Bueckers is the type of player that has the type of game where I think she could play with anybody in any type of style. She's plug and play. You can take Paige, stick her here. Take Paige, stick her there. She could do everything from run that point guard to be a solid 2 or 3. So yeah, you grab her. Absolutely. And it doesn't really matter who's running the point specifically, whether it's Enrique or whether it's Paige, because those are both great on and off ball players who will dig in on the defensive end as well. I see a complete turnaround for the Dallas Wings within the next year or 2, obviously, because you don't add a player of that caliber who can do what they can do on both sides of the floor, coupled with the IQ that she has, and not tearing your whole franchise around. So those Dallas fans, y'all should be happy, and you should be wanting Paige without a doubt, right? There would be no problems with fit-wise. I just don't believe. I just see her and Enrique going crazy, honestly. That's the way I see it. And next you got, Maryland, Oklahoma, Ohio State. I can't go through all these teams, y'all. I can't do that. We ain't got the type of time. And then number 2, we're really about them stars. That's what we're really about, And good morning to Braden Kaslev. I see all of your comments right there. You know how we do. I run my mouth a little bit, and then I start letting y'all run your mouth if you want to. I'm going to deal with your comments and all of that. I see Dre Stewart is in the house. That's what's up. and also Jared Thomas. That's what's up. Who always has some good insights. Who's always up early and ready to go. You know, that's my man. All right, so um, I saw a lot of what was posted on social media from the ladies who will be taking part in the 3-on-3 basketball that is called Unrivaled, and I'm actually excited right now. You know, like at first I wasn't because I'm not big on 3-on-3 basketball. The big three that Ice Cube runs. I started. I tried to watch it. I did watch first couple seasons, but it was like, and it was because those are some of my favorite players from them earlier eras. You know, you got a lot of guys that played in the early 2000s and so on, right? And some from somewhat the 90s. Some of my favorite players. So I tried to peek in, but it didn't keep my interest too much. This, however, I understand. You know, that it's 3-on-3, but it's actually two courts. It's like a full court 3-on-3. So I'm just interested to see what that look like. I ain't never in my life seen full court 3-on-3. And from what I understand, it's like a smaller, court. It's not like you're not running full court, but it's a little smaller 3-on-3. I'm just interested to see what that thing look like. So I will be tuning in, and I will be covering it as well here on the channel. See who's doing what. What I'm hoping is they add some extra things. Like there should be some like backstage. Like I would take a little bit of a page from WWE, and like now before y'all say that shit sound corny, just give me a second. I would take a little page from WWE, and I would start little fake backstage drama between the two. Like I would let the women get a segment to talk about the upcoming games that they're going to have. And I wouldn't have it like you have in the NBA where it's new, or the W where there's no trash talk. Everybody's professional with the mic and all that BS. I would have these women just talking shit, you know, like having Breonna Stewart say, "Oh, I'm going to destroy Nafisa Collier like I did in the finals," and then Nafisa talking back in that. And I already know some players will be better at that than others, but I want to have Angel talking crazy. I'll have Dejanay, who's a little nuts already, talking crazy about how she's gonna shut down Enrique when they play, and that's what I would do. I would have that in the background because it's nothing like a little bit of intrigue to create interest to cause people to want to watch more. That's just what I would do. You know, I would make sure that joint is a physical brand of basketball. You know, not so physical where they're gonna be hurt and you don't want to have a bunch of injuries leading up into the WNBA and all of that, but like physical ball always work. There it has to feel like real competition and competitiveness. It has to at least give off the sense of dislike. You know, you ain't got to dislike each other off the court, dislike each other on the court. They have those things. You got me. I'm gonna be a fan. So, but I'm gonna support one way or another, man, because I support these sisters, man. Just in general, as men should do, man. Support them, man. They're not our competition. Support them, bro. Which brings me real quick to some bullshit. This dude Jeff Teague made, as we know, Jeff Teague. I already did a video on him having Charleston White on his show. And I already did a whole thing talking about that. So if you want details, you can go to that video. But this dude, he now makes a statement about A'ja Wilson, right? For some reason, the dumbass question comes up. I guess, could A'ja Wilson play in the NBA? And then Jeff Teague, like being the type of dude that he is, he thinks that this is a question that a man should actually answer. And he answers the question. He says that, A'ja Wilson wouldn't be able to beat out the 12th man on an NBA team, right? And listen, that's probably true, right? But my question is, what man feel like he got to say that? You know what I mean? Like, if we get it, men and women are different. Men, God has given us a degree of like responsibility over them, really, and in that with that responsibility, comes a little bit more extra muscle mass, a little bit bigger size, little bit things like that, because we're built naturally to go out, hunt, get the food, to go out, in the streets and get it and bring it back. And that's just what it is, right? So, but there's no need for a man to feel like he has women are a threat in some type of physical competitive way. That's silly to even answer that question, bro. And I don't understand these guys. I don't know who raised these guys. I don't know what their relationships with their mothers was, or their relationships with their sisters was, or their relationship with their daughters is. But like, some of that stuff is just corny and clown stuff, bro. And I just don't understand that. And I just wanted to just mention that real quick. Now, before I get to a lot of y'all questions, man, what I wanted to do is just take a real quick look at the draft board. Just real quick peek at it. Right? We got a long ways to go before we get there. And I do realize, like, a lot of these girls, their stock is going to rise and fall based on what happens during the rest of the season, as well as definitely the tournament, because the tournament will raise stock like a mug. If you remember, like, that happened with Steph Curry, that happened with Kemba Walker, that happened with Kyrie Irving. A lot of players, sometimes, like, they'll have one little way people look at them. Then when you get to that tournament and people see you in the most pressurized situation against the best competition, if you're able to rise and come through that, oftentimes that is what will skyrocket your stock all the way up to, being a top 5 pick, lottery pick. So we're gonna bear that in mind. But right now, let's see what we got, man. Right now, it looks like Dallas Wings, as we know, has the number 1 pick. Number 2 goes to the LA Sparks. 3 goes to my Chicago Sky. 4 goes to the Washington Mystics. 5 goes to the new team that they've added into the W, which I'm trying to understand how they're going to work some things out, because I get when it's an even number of teams, it's easier. You do East and West. Even I don't know if they do East and West in the W, to be honest with you. But now you got 13 teams. I'm surprised they didn't add 2 right away, so that way it's still always an even number. But whatever, it's just a side thing I think about. But you got the Golden State Valkyries, who right now, they had that little draft where they have some players like Kate Martin, and I think they grabbed Fag Benlay and some other players like that from different teams. Now it's going to be interesting to see who they take number 1 and 5. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Number 6 is Washington Mystics, who have 2 picks. They got number 4 and number 6. So if they're smart, they can really turn their franchise around if they make the right picks. Then you got 7 goes to Phoenix, 8 goes to the Indiana Fever, 9 goes to the Seattle Storm, 10 to Chicago Sky. So Chicago Sky, once again, 2 picks in the first round, number 3, number 10. It's interesting to see what they do with it. Do they move anybody? Do they do any of that? Or they just straight up take the 2 picks? I'm going to talk about what I would do, because that's the team that interests me the most as far as rooting interest, right? So then the Minx and the Liberty, of course, have the last 2 picks. Those were the teams that represented the WNBA in the finals. Dallas Wings, obviously, it's obvious they're going to take Paige Bueckers, right? They're going to take Paige. And I already mentioned earlier how Paige and Enrique, I think, fits perfectly. You're talking about 2 willing defensive players, and also 2 off the ball and on the ball players. Like, they're both excellent at both. They can switch point guard duties, can run the offense through either player. And then don't forget about that damn Satu, right? Who right now will be the second best player next year. I don't know that Paige is going to be better than Satu right away. She won't be better than Enrique right away. May never be better than Enrique. But we'll see how that goes. But that's a hell of a 3. That's a hell of a 3 to have, right? Talking about Satu, Paige, and Enrique. So make sure you got the right coaching over there. And I'm watching. I love Paige's game. LA Sparks. Okay, all right. Let's just say this here before we go into it. The LA Sparks. Unfortunately, and I know Chicago Sky fans don't want to hear this, they're likely going to take Olivia Miles. Okay, because you got to look at what they got now. You got Cameron. Okay, so you got your big. She coming back. You got the other big. My goodness, the one that was from the Aces that caused the whole problem that she got pregnant, and I'm sorry, I'm messing up her name right now. Okay, but the other big, they got them two. Then you got the player who will be the best player from last year's draft, in my opinion, later on, and that is Rickea Jackson. Okay, you got her, right? Who right now I think they got her playing the three. Though she's a playmaking three as well, who you couldn't run the offense through. At some point, that may be the case. But there is no way in the world they don't add Olivia Miles. If they're smart. Olivia Miles, without a doubt, is arguably the best player in the draft. Definitely, in the opinion of most, the second best player in the draft. That's going to enter the draft of the current players that have declared or that have no more college eligibility. She's the second best. Not the best athlete, okay? That's not what she's going to do it with. Not the best defensive player, though she's willing and she's not a turnstile, right? Like some other point guards that we know about. She's not a turnstile. But her IQ, her playmaking, her passing is already WNBA ready. She'll come in as one of the best passers in the league immediately from day one, from jump. And will be top point guard for years to come. As a franchise point guard, there's no way the Sparks, no way she gets past the Sparks, in my opinion. Okay? So we got Paige and Olivia. And honestly, for me, Paige and Olivia, from the players that are known declared players, Paige and Olivia are like, to me, top tier. When you start going 3 and down of the players that are declared, I think there's a different level. From what I watched, I think there's a different level there. Chicago Sky, number 3. Let me say this. I'm going to start with this caveat with the Chicago Sky. And I know if, okay, this is an if, and this can't happen. If Flau'jae Johnson declares for the draft, you ever heard of how you take a monkey wrench and just throw that shit in the middle of something to fuck everything up? That's what will happen if Flau'jae Johnson decides, based on what LSU does, because that's what she said, and decides to declare for the draft. There is no way on God's green earth Chicago Sky doesn't take Flau'jae Johnson. There's no way you don't do that. I don't want to hear nothing about no Sonia Citron, and I love Sonia Citron's game. Defense. Yeah, I saw her play Juju. I saw her play against Paige. I saw it. I know Sonia Citron shoots an absurd number from the three-point line, and it's gotten better as it goes on. I know her and that big 3 right there that I just talked about from Notre Dame ain't no joke. I know that. But let me tell you something. You crazy, Jared. You out of your damn mind. You are out of your damn mind, Jared. If you got Flau'jae Johnson, right? Let's take the names out of it. If you got an athlete, okay? You got an athlete right here. And you got a fundamentally sound player right here. Athlete, fundamentally sound player who does all the right things, who plays sound defense, is always in the right spot, all of those things you love. Reliable shooter and all of that. You got an athlete. Both players have equally good, if both players have an equally good work ethic, you take that damn athlete, okay? Let me say it again. If you got an athlete, you got a fundamentally sound player. Okay? Both equally good work ethic. Both good size, although you take the athlete. The athlete has a higher ceiling. When they first get to the league, maybe the fundamentally sound player will be a little bit better that first year. That athlete, though, is what you take for the long haul, assuming there's no injury that happens. You take Flau'jae right there. And I know Angel Reese, and I know Mama Reese, and I know Mama Johnson got problems. This is what we're gonna do, right? And I'm offering anyone from Chicago Sky who may possibly miraculously see this. I offer myself to be an arbitrator. We can go to the best restaurant in Chicago, La Fouché or whatever the hell you want. You can order the lobster. Y'all can order the filet mignon, whatever, the most expensive shit you need. Mama Johnson, Mama Reese need to sit down, work whatever the hell out. I don't know if one slept with the other's boyfriend. I don't know what the hell happened with them, okay? But they need to work that out because there's no way you take Citron over somebody like Flau'jae in a situation where she declares, okay? You don't do that. You don't do that, okay? The athlete is always the player that you take over the fundamentally sound one. Now, Flau'jae doesn't declare. It's very simple. Go ahead and take Sonia Citron. No brainer. Why? She plug and play. She fits right in. Put her in that 3. Unfortunately, Michaela Onyenwere, I don't know. They have to battle it out for that 3. Michaela might win in the beginning, maybe, but then I like Michaela because Michaela is a defensive player. I get all of that. Unless you can play Citron at 2, but then what about Kennedy Carter? You got to sign Kennedy. I don't know what Chicago does if Flau'jae Johnson declares for the draft. I don't know. But me, that's who I take. At 3, in the event that she declares. She doesn't declare, it's Citron. Very simple for me. Washington Mystics. I don't know what the hell the Mystics are going to do. I can see the Mystics taking Kiki Iriafen. I can see them doing that. I can see them going with an overseas player like this. I hate to use the terms like this, but she really is a monster. There's this girl in France named Malanga, Dominique Malanga, who is 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan. Let me say this shit again. She is 6'6", which you can't teach, with a 7'2" damn wingspan. That is going to get you 3 to 4 blocks a game just by accident. All right, so if I'm the Mystics, I gotta take a long, hard look at that player. And I know they got bigs. They got Lee Edwards. They got other bigs. I don't see how you're not taking a long look at her. If she, of course, wants to come over, sometimes, you get problems with the players in France and in Europe not wanting to come over. So that's an issue. If she's not available, what do? I guess they go with a guard. I don't think they take Anissa Morrow, right? Kiki Iriafen, I don't think so. She's too similar to Lee Edwards, I think. I don't know. You got Pow Pow out there if you're going to go with guards. Pow Pow, I think, is probably a top 3 shooter in the draft from South Carolina. You always got Bree Hall or Raven Johnson. I don't know. I think Bree Hall, Raven Johnson fall a little bit further down. If I'm Chicago, though, for sure, I take with that 10th pick, with that number 10 pick, I take whoever is there from South. I'm taking a South Carolina player. I don't care. South Carolina is Alabama, Crimson Tide. You just fill the team with those guys. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles do, honestly. That's why people wonder, the Eagles got this crazy, and I know I'm switching sports, but people talk about how loaded the Eagles are. The Eagles just do simple things. You get those, you target certain skill positions, then you fill the rest in with Alabama and Georgia. It's real simple. So if I'm here, this is what I do. I just fill it with South Carolina because I know they have coaching. They're ready. They're mature, right? So that's what I would do if I'm Chicago. So if that's Bree, if that's Pow Pow, if she's still there, if it's Raven, let's do it. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So the Mystics, I'm really not so sure what they're gonna do. Golden State, I guess Golden State takes whoever you didn't take. I can see Citron going to Golden State if Flaugier declares, and if she declares Chicago better take her. Okay, better. All right. I got somebody right now. I'm just gonna throw on Caitlin. They can score. That play. That come on. And then you just think about the ticket sales. That's the other thing too. You got to think about with Johnson and Reese. The ticket sales. There's no way you just don't. That's sellouts. Big stadium every game. You got Reese and Flaugier. There is no solitary freaking way you don't take them. And Mama Johnson, Mama Reese better work that shit out. That's what they better do. Whatever the problem is, I don't care about this stuff. There's some other players out there that are. I'm not real big on the European players. I took a look at some of them in my research. There's this Sivka out there who's a good shooter, but with a lot of them, I don't know that they're coming. You don't really know that. So some of that stuff we got to wait on. There's a Janiah Barker out there that I like as a big player for UCLA, and which brings me to this. You know, Lauren Betts technically could declare for the draft. You know that, right? Lauren Betts could technically declare for the draft. What happens if she declares? If Lauren Betts declares, do Dallas go that route? Put Lauren Betts with Arike instead of Paige? Probably not. Because I think you think about ticket sales too. You think about box office to go along with fit and play. But does Lauren Betts, if she declared, cause the Sparks to do that? Probably not, because the Sparks still have Cameron. So they probably don't go Lauren Betts. Chicago, we know, is not taking Lauren Betts. Does Lauren Betts go to Washington? Probably. Does she go to Golden State? Absolutely. And that would be a good spot, actually. If Lauren Betts was to declare, I don't know that she drops to 5, but I would like to see her there in Golden State. That would be good. That's a player you build around. And for those who don't know, you know, she's the big center over there in UCLA. They got them at number 1. You know, they got her. Now, Anissa Morrow is an interesting one. Anissa Morrow. I love Anissa Morrow's game. Okay. Many consider her to be, you know, the Angel Reese right now that LSU has, and she does fill that certain role. But at the next level, when you project Anissa Morrow, it gets a little difficult, okay? The differences between her and Angel Reese is 6'3", Anissa Morrow is but 6'1". They both have a similar motor, I should say, but Anissa Morrow has a 6'4" wingspan. She stands at 6'1" with a wingspan of 6'4". It's always good to have a wingspan that's taller than you are, but Angel Reese has a wingspan of 7 feet. Okay, right? So when you talk about her, she's kind of freakishly, like, different. You know, Angel Reese. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, she's going to out-rebound damn near everybody because her wingspan, you know, to go along with the motor. The 6'3" height is decent, but of course it's not it's not Cardosa or, you know, or Griner or anything like that. But her wingspan is just as long as Brianna Stewart's, you know, damn near. Okay, that's the difference between Morrow and Reese. While I projected she would dominate rebounding wise at the next level, whereas Morrow, I'm not sure. If you look at the measurables, got me. And she's not a shooter, right? Anissa Morrow has to develop a shot, I think. Right? I don't know. She might go out there and just get 10 damn rebounds a night, and I'll be wrong. That's possible. But when I look at the when I look at the measurables, I don't project that. I just put it that way. When we get to the Fever, who I'm sure a lot of people want to hear about the Fever. So Phoenix Mercury is before the Fever. Okay, so the Phoenix Mercury. Ah, boy, Phoenix Mercury. A lot depends on. I've heard that Taurasi still has not retired. I heard that Taurasi still has not retired. If I'm the Phoenix Mercury ownership, I'm telling Diana, listen. I get it. You're our GOAT, Phoenix Mercury. I don't believe she's the greatest of all women's basketball, but you're our GOAT, Phoenix Mercury. We love you, Diana. Okay. We might even offer you an assistant coaching job. But you will not be a starting player on the team. Maybe you move to the bench. See, that's what you got to do. You got to start telling Diana that she's not going to start, right? And then that's what'll get her out of here. You know, that's what they do to NBA players, like Allen Iverson. When they wanted to kind of push him out of the league, what they started doing was making him a bench player, and you know that affects his ego because Allen Iverson, since he was 5 years old, was a damn starter. You know, so you start telling players like that they coming on the bench. Allen Iverson got a famous. You can go back to it's footage on YouTube when he was with the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies tried that shit. They tell me he coming on the bench. That, in my opinion, is his most famous presser over the practice one. The joint where coming off the bench, that joint had me rolling. Allen Iverson said, you know, I never heard of a rookie year coming off the bench. I never heard of an MVP coming off the bench. I never heard of a 10-time All-Pro coming off the bench, right? He went off, right? But that's what you got to start doing with Taurasi, okay? So the Taurasi leaves. Do they need a point? I got to relook at it. I got to relook at their roster. I know they do have a good point guard. The sister who used to come in, I forget her name though. Forgive me for that, y'all. I forget her name. Of course, you still got Kai. Griner, does Griner leave? Like there's a lot of these questions for me. That's why it's kind of difficult for me to figure out who the who the Mercury will take. I don't know. Maybe they take Decivka from overseas. Maybe they take Pow Pow. I don't know. Now, the Indiana Fever is interesting. I'm sure a lot of people, Fever fans, all of a sudden get all these Fever fans everywhere. You know what would scare the hell out of me? It's not going to happen. But if the Fever ever got their hands on somebody like a Lauren Betts, Lord have mercy. That's not going to happen because Betts, there's no way Betts drops to 8. That's like impossible, right? But the league, you see, with the desire. Well, then again, hold up. I forgot about Leah Boston. Leah Boston is there. Her and Betts wouldn't fit. I personally believe the Fever need a better 3. Lexi Hull is the y'all. A lot of y'all like her and all of that because she can get hot at times. She's not good enough at that level. Lexi Hull is not good enough. Lexi Hull is a player that at certain times is going to flash in the regular season. She's going to go in the playoffs and disappear. That's what I say. That's my word on that. Prove me wrong. Because I've seen these types of players all the time. Right. They get hot certain points of the year, get you thinking that they're a real 3, go to playoffs. She's a willing defender, that I give her. She's an effective defender. because she's has a long wingspan, good size, right? Those types of things. What I'm hoping is that Citron isn't that type of isn't her own defense. Though in college she looks great. She was able to guard Juju without fouling her once. That's impressive. Okay. But that's a player I would not want to see the Fever end up with a Citron. Oh my God. They end up with Citron. You're not going to hear the end of it, you know. But the Citron drop to 8, I don't think so. Who do the Fever end up getting? I don't know. Fever, I wouldn't be surprised if the Fever drew someone from overseas or something like that to help that team out. Seattle Storm, I don't know what the hell's going on with them. If Jewel Lloyd leaves, I suppose they have to replace her. Which, how do you replace Jewel Lloyd? You really can't. Unless you're getting a top pick, 1, 2, 3 type player. Storm is going to be tough for them. Or maybe, the girl they got from France is there to kind of replace Jewel Lloyd, maybe. Can she? The Sky at 10. Like I said, if I'm the Chicago Sky at 10, I'm grabbing whoever from South Carolina has not been selected yet. And I don't care if it's Raven. I don't care if it's Bree. And I don't care if it's Pow Pow. I'm grabbing whoever I can from South Carolina who has not been selected yet. And then the Minnesota Lynx and New York Liberty, I don't give a damn what they do. Forget both of them. Y'all already great. Okay, then the Aces lost their damn first-round pick. Boo-hoo on them. Your ass is loaded any damn way. All right, so whatever you get is just extra. All right, so let's go to something what you brothers got to say here, man. You brothers and sisters. Dre Stewart says, I just hope Olivia Miles drop to 3. Chicago really needs a solid point guard. If Olivia Miles drops to 3, she is a no-brainer. You take Olivia Miles. I agree with that, bro. How she drops, I don't know. The only way I can see Olivia Miles dropping is if Lauren Betts declared, and then the Sparks or Dallas takes her instead of the obvious Paige and then Olivia. But I think it's a long shot that Olivia drops to 3, personally. Braden Costley, good morning, bro. Jared, first comment, Notre Dame, USC, LSU, Iowa are all good teams. The depth of women's ball is underrated. I agree. Flan, have you watched TCU and HBL yet? Unfortunately, I've not watched a whole TCU game. Van Lith. I'm familiar with Van Lith's game. I've seen her play. Don't think I've never seen Van Lith play. I've seen Van Lith. Is she eligible for the draft though? That's the question that I have about Haley. In fact, let's look that up. How old is Haley Van Lith? I know she's been around forever. Oh yeah, Haley Van Lith. She got into the draft last year. 23 damn years old, man. Boy. So I'm sure you want to see Van Lith, right? You would. Oh, is that what you're trying to say? You want Van Lith to go to Chicago instead of like a Florida or something like that? You're crazy, out of your mind. If you think Van Lith, it'll be better at the next level than Johnson. That's what I think you're getting at. I can't wait to see how Sabrina Ionescu plays on those 3-on-3s. Yeah, I'm sure you can. Paige to Dallas makes him an interesting watch. She'll get to face her good buddy CeCe a lot. Are they really good buddies? The Sky with those 2 picks need to take a point guard first and a flyer. I would consider a small forward the second pick. Perhaps. You could be right about that. But I'm picking I'm taking that 10th pick, I'm picking somebody. I'm not doing no flyer. I'm like for example, if I get Citron at 3, I'm taking Raven if she's in the draft. I know a lot of people are saying she needs to stay another year because people overrate shooting too damn much. I get the floor spacing problems. And I don't know. Raven is kind of tough. Raven and Angel, unless Angel develops this shot, I get the potential problems. I'm not afraid of that because I look at the defensive potential of the team. When I have defense, I'm always in every game. That's one thing I can guarantee with defense. You talk about Raven from Izzy, not Izzy. What the hell? The point guard that we had last year. On Chicago. Whew. I take Raven as an upgrade from her. Even though I like the development that Spoon had her play with last year. Right? The Fever badly need a center. They have Aaliyah Boston. Why they badly need a center? Smith is a good power forward upside, but she needs a bigger player next to her at C. They still have Smith? I thought she was leaving. Jonathan Gonzalez, what's going on, bro? The Sparks need someone like Harmony Turner because she is more of a scoring point guard, and she will fit more on Sparks' offense than Olivia Miles. No. You don't do that. You take Olivia Miles. Jonathan. You take Olivia Miles. All that other stuff literally is hogwash. You take Olivia Miles. That's what you do, and you figure it out. You don't think too much. Like when those GMs start doing all that, see, I need more like this because score a point and you do all of that, then it fits. You start messing up. What you do is you take the Hall of Fame player, and the rest of that shit, you figure that out. Respect your opinion, but I completely disagree. Flaugier at 3 is too high. You are drunk. If you think Flaugier at 3 is too high, you're drunk. Okay? And not disrespectful. You my man, so I can say that to you, right? Yeah, you're drunk, though. You need to lay off. The Fever, I believe, needs to take your defensive wing in the draft to help out. See, yeah, I agree. That's why I don't want them to get Citron, because then they're going to be a problem. They get Citron, the Fever become a serious threat to win a title, which I don't want to see, at least no time soon. You want the Sun to take Haley Van Lith. Yeah. She fits. Haley Van Lith is a player you can plug and play. She fits. Even though I think he might get beat up by Leslie Thomas at some point because he shoots a little too much sometimes. But yeah. Will Raven Johnson fit with the Sky? See, yeah, they do, because they're going to be a defensive juggernaut team, right? And Cardoso shoot. What the hell Cardoso got to shoot for? The center. And Cardoso can make 10-footers or 15-footers. Right? Everything ain't about 3-pointers. That 3-point stuff, like, okay. I think that 3-point shit is the reason why Minnesota Lynx lost, because he shoots me damn threes. But they got to the finals. But, the 3-point stuff, please. Play some defense. Score smartly. And you'll win titles. You'll win titles, man. Oh, man. So, what else do we have on tap here? What interesting games are coming up, y'all? Let me see. But I can't believe you said that. That to me is sick. All right. And if Flaugier goes to the Fever, they're gonna win a championship if Flaugier goes to the Fever. Like, what are we talking about? Like, if Flaugier go to the Fever, they're gonna win a title. Like, within a year or two. That's what's gonna happen. You don't want to see that unless you're a Fever fan. I don't want to see Flaugier on Fever. The hell? All right, so and then she would hate it there too. She would. playing with CC, and she will be the best scorer on the team. Like, listen to me. You put Flau'jae on the Fever, she's going to be miserable because by game 5, we're going to see that the best scorer is Flau'jae on the team. Okay? Not best three-point shooter. Anybody just, shoot stupid logo threes. I'm saying I need a bucket. Am I going to go to a player with a mid-range who can get to the rim as an athlete, or I'm going to go to CC? They're going to be going to Flau'jae a lot in that situation. Those fans, those CC fans, they want to see wins, but they want to see the wins coming by way of Caitlin Clark. That's what they want to see. Right? So if Flau'jae is winning, they're going to want Flau'jae gone, similar to how they don't like Kelsey Mitchell, many of them. Or I can say they don't like her, but what they do is they act like she's not doing anything when she's doing damn near everything. Where are you from, DVD? First time seeing your show. Good taking women's basketball so far. So far. I like that. I like it so far. Oh man, but thanks for coming through, checking us out, man. Yeah, we do this. But like I said, I'm not limited to women's basketball. I'm really a Philadelphia Eagles fan. That's really what this is about. We make no mistakes about that. We secondarily handle the Philadelphia 76ers, though they stink right now. They're trying to get from stinking to, right, they went from garbage dump to just dirty room. They're right now just dirty room. And, a little bit more cleaning up, maybe they'll get from beneath the stench, But that's what we pretty much cover for the most part, Philadelphia area things. Now, women's sports, though, I just recently started watching closely. Okay. All right. So I'm not no know-it-all, know everything guy. Okay. But what I do know is basketball from watching a whole lot of years, my time playing, and stuff like that. So I can just speak generally, but I'm learning about the different players and their skill sets and so on. But pretty much when I watch a player play about 3-4 games, I kind of got your game down, right? Because I do have that type of basketball eye, just in general. The Kelsey Mitchell hate is too far. They tear her down because she didn't make the playoffs before CC. Yeah, but they know the year before they were very close to the playoffs, before Caitlin Clark came. And okay, you need 3 good players. That's the thing about the WNBA. The WNBA is unlike the NBA. It's rare where it's just okay. This is this person's team, and just that person there is just gonna get you to the playoffs. No, and the WNBA only has 12 now, 13 teams. So the talent is so concentrated. The best teams are loaded to death. The Aces are loaded. The New York Liberty is loaded. The Minnesota Lynx is loaded. From big 3 to the bench, they're loaded teams. The loaded teams win because the number of players are so low. So the talent is so concentrated. It's a completely different paradigm than in the NBA, where you can just have like the Sixers did. They threw Joel Embiid in the midst of a team of just ragtags, and you still at least able to make the 8th seed, make the playoffs. Okay, you throw Kawhi Leonard in the middle of Toronto, which was decent players, but not super, and they can win a title. That's the NBA. And then the W, it doesn't work that way. You can take the greatest player in the world, even A'ja Wilson. You just throw her on the worst team. Okay, maybe they'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to win a title. A'ja Wilson, as great as she is, and she's way better than the second best player on the Aces. But the Aces are loaded. So Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston not making the playoffs prior to Caitlin Clark get there. Okay, boo, whoop-de-doo. It's not that big a deal. In that particular league, you need a lot of players, and you need a bench to really win. So, you had Kelsey Mitchell and Leah Boston. They were all-stars already, so they were players who did their thing. But then you add Caitlin Clark, now you have a big three. So that's all that was. I don't know why they think that that's a valid criticism of Kelsey Mitchell. That's silly. Yeah, and then injuries, exactly. What do you think the score will be with the Eagles and Giants today? Blah, 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 blah. 21-17. However, I probably won't be watching much of that because pretty much no starters for the Eagles are playing. The Giants are just probably the dumbest organization in the NFL right now. They were set at number 1 last week, going into last week. They were set to draft Shakur or whoever the hell they want. Shedeur Sanders or whoever they want, even if they don't want Shedeur. They were slated at 1. They go out there and win that damn game. And I think now they're at 4 or 5. Okay. If they have half a brain, they'll lose on purpose. Okay. Win when it counts. When it doesn't count, what are you winning for? Who are you trying to impress? Okay. You stink. You suck. You're not in the playoffs. So winning that game doesn't mean you no longer not suck. What it means is now you have a harder chance of trying to improve your team. So that was stupid on the part of the Giants to do that. So I don't know. I can't predict this game. I'm sure the Eagles will just take the win if the Giants decide to lay down because, 13 wins or 14 wins looks better than 13. But the score, I can't. Now, for the sake of betting, right? What's the over under for that game? Let's check that out because maybe you're a bettor. So I know a lot of you bettors come through, and I'm a good guy to go with. I win a good amount on DraftKings, actually. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, my picks are good. So right now, okay, so the Eagles are a 2.5-point favorite against the Giants in this game, with an over-under of 35.5. I think I would just take the under. I think I would just take the under in that game. Yeah, that's what I would do. The points, I have no idea who's going to win. Jared says, I believe Lith is the perfect fit for the Sun and vice versa. The Sun at key times went through scoring droughts. Lith could help with that, and defense first Sun could help. See, my thing is with those predictions right now, I hear a lot of their players are free agents, like Alyssa, Bonner, Carrington. So I got to kind of see who's going to stay before I make those types of projections, But if assuming they keep everybody, sure, she fits, You agree with sitting Saquon Barkley instead of letting him go for the record? Yeah. And that's because if you put Saquon Barkley out there, you got to put all the linemen. You got to put the starting offensive line out there, right? You would be irresponsible to put Saquon out there with backup linemen. Now, the problem is Lane Johnson, our best offensive lineman, one of the major captains on the team, is not in favor of playing. He's more in favor of resting than playing. That's a problem. Mekhi Becton, the right guard who plays next to Lane Johnson, was banged up, last game. He may be fine, but he was limping, like at the end of the game. I would like to rest him because of that. Landon Dickerson, spent some time on the floor, got up slowly a few times last week. That's our left guard. Um, because of that, I would like to rest him as well, right? So it's more than just Saquon. I'm thinking about the whole situation. Now, you go out there, you put Saquon in there with backups. He gets hurt. Now I got to talk about firing the damn coach and all that kind of shit, right? So I think unless Saquon was clamoring for it and he really wanted this record really bad and I could potentially cause a problem later in the locker room, unless it's something like that, yeah, I'm in favor of sitting him, because this is an Eagles team that has a realistic shot of winning a Super Bowl. We've already locked in one home game, and all we need is the number one seed to lose, which is probably a long shot because but this year is strange because you got Minnesota and Detroit vying for the one. So one will be the one, the other will be either the 4 or 5th seed, however that works, right? So there'll be teams like Green Bay, Tampa, who actually beat a healthy Detroit Lions team that will be facing one of them, in the first round. So one of those teams could lose in the first round. It's possible. I can see an upset, early in this draft. So what we're talking about is the Eagles are in a position to possibly have 2 home games prior to Super Bowl. But even without that, the Eagles are a team, excellent running game, excellent defense. So and an excellent road record. Matter of fact, on the road, we did lose the Tampa Bay game on the road, and the Washington game, I think, man, was that on the road? I'm not sure, but we had an excellent road team. We beat Baltimore on the road, beat the Rams on the road, beat some the Bengals on the road, beat some good teams on the road, right? So, with all of that said, yeah, I think it's in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles because of the realistic chance they have to win a Super Bowl. I think it is best to sit Saquon and not go for Eric Dickerson's record. Love Haley Van Lith to death, but the defense is terrible. Agreed. All right. So that's pretty much what I got right now, y'all. Just wanted to touch on that there. Let's see. Why do you think Latson for FSU, the leading scorer in college women's basketball, is not getting much shine like Paige, Juju, Hidalgo, etc.? Good question. And it could be because she is a surprise and wasn't expected. You'll find oftentimes the writers, who are the people that are in control of these narratives, they'll make their predictions prior to the start of the season. I'm not saying this is the reason, but this is, I think, a good reason. They're prior to the start of the season, they offer their predictions and projections on who's going to be what, who's going to do what. And sometimes the surprise person will take a little bit of time to pick up steam and be talked about like the others. And my guess is that's what it is, because I get what you're saying. Her numbers are ridiculous. I think she's averaging over 28 or something like that. I was researching her a little bit yesterday, and I was actually a question I kind of had, but I don't know. I got to look deeper at her game, because I honestly I wasn't catching Florida State games like that to give maybe a reason. I don't know. Is there defensive deficiencies? Is there something that people aren't seeing? But I doubt if it's that. I think it's more narrative driven, which is what happens with most of these writers. Most of the writers who control the narratives are not experts on the sport, but they're just experts on storytelling. And they don't see a story right now. Perhaps FSU is not a team they see doing something in the tournament. A lot of times it's stuff like that. See, stay longer. Yeah, I wish, man. And I could do this all day too, but yeah, I am a very agenda-driven person. I got my whole list of things I got to get done today. That's how I am, man. I'm a storyboard person. I each day is organized out for me, and I learned to do that based on a lot of years of being a procrastinator and not getting things done and realizing where I could be compared to where I am. But I've decided, no, guess what? From this point on, I'm going to be a productive pocket. And right now, by 11 o'clock, I got to be at the gym. I got to be pushing that 315 up, to get all of this right. That's my schedule. So I got to stick to it. Now it's 10:30. The only way I get to the gym by 11 is if I stop now, unfortunately. So got to stick to this schedule, man, or I'm going to fall back into the bad habits of being a procrastinating guy and all of that stuff. So while I love your comment and I love the fact you would love to hear me sit here and run my mouth all morning, and I definitely appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe, of course, which I don't say enough. But I gotta stick to my schedule. Gotta stick to my schedule, man. It'll actually make me better at this. Let's see here. Salute, bro. Watch a Haley Van Lith game, please. As long as TCU ain't on at the same time as LSU is on. But no, I'll catch, even if I don't catch it live, man. I'll catch some of it. Plus, I've seen Haley play before, but I'll watch it. I'll watch a TCU game so that way I can speak more about them here, and it makes Jared happy, so I'll do that. All right. Tomorrow morning I'll be back live because got to speak on of course the Eagles, of course, and then I'm going to speak on the 3-on-3 as well in more detail. I'm still researching a lot of that stuff, so that's why I haven't gone on in depth about it. But what I'm going to speak on when it comes to the 3-on-3, I'm going to give my prediction on what teams I think will do the best. I got to get a better idea of how their tournament works. I'm assuming they have to have games, and then there has to be a tournament and championship. And I'm going to talk about who I think, which team I think will prevail. So that'll be tomorrow. But the plan is to go live every morning. That's the plan. So tomorrow morning is the answer. The short answer. All right, so I appreciate everybody coming through, man. Like I said, we're going to do this always pretty much every morning. And those of you who have comments, appreciate it, man. And I will get with you all tomorrow morning. Peace out.